Welcome, Rap Battlers. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started, man.
Awesome!
So I haven't played the beta both weekends. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Yeah, man, I don't know what to say. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was amazing. There were some glitches, of course, but see, I don't really care too much about how somebody else makes their video game. I'm pretty down for like, okay, as long as it works and looks good, and the more stuff I can do that's realistic, the better. You know, I enjoy that. You know, I even played some multiplayer, and one of my favorite modes was Prison Rescue, because it was the most realistic of the modes I think that were there. There were some others that were you could die, and people could revive you and stuff. I don't know, I just liked it. I mean, there was a lot to like. I know a lot of people were complaining and whatever, but like I said, I think there was a lot to like when it came to the multiplayer. Yeah, so my controller is, everything's different. I'm just learning on it. I went with Beast Flipped for a variety of reasons. It just was closely resembled what I was already using. Just brought the back paddles into where I was most comfortable. One of the modes I really liked was Invasion. I'm looking forward to more of the versions that they have. I'm looking forward to getting to play it. Whenever they add more maps and stuff, I'm excited because it's going to be based on the Warzone maps. You know, it was fun. I had a good time. I died a lot. Sometimes I did a lot of dumb stuff, but I learned a lot too about the movement, the types of movement that are applicable to this game, to the way they're going to play. And I'm so glad. I'll be honest. I'm so glad they're getting rid of slide canceling. That's actually a really big reason why I'm not playing Warzone anymore, as is because I didn't like the movement. I didn't want to just keep sliding all over the place, and it just wasn't realistic. And oh yeah, so yeah, you can use the bots to your advantage. Like they can guard your back for you, and then when they start shooting, like see, I can see on the radar that someone's below me. So when they start shooting, I knew someone was there. So easy kill. Yeah, the bots can be handy. I think people don't know how to use them yet. Once they figure out how to use them and all the other tools to their advantage, it's gonna be fun learning all that stuff and how you piece one bit of the game with another bit of the game to come up with some sort of creative scenario when you play against other players. It's just gonna be fun. And one of the things that I really kind of that I didn't really care for was the leveling up, but just because it required me to use, it was good. I did like it, but it's in terms of like, I just found it like a little grindy, which I'm not really into grinding. I like playing, love playing, but I'm not into grinding personally. Don't care too much about all that, the camos and stuff. If they happen, they happen. Whatever it is I do, is what I do to play, And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the game. But I'm trying to think, like, was there anything I didn't really care for? The time to kill was really quick. And I liked that the bots had different levels. Like, some were easier to kill than others. One of the things I did notice about the bots is that they will come after you. They will come up on you and try to get you if you can. So that's good. I think that's going to be handy. I'm looking forward to DMZ. I'm excited about Warzone 2 as well, and Warzone also. I'm excited about that and the changes. I'm looking forward to the changes. I'm not really a big fan of Caldera. I wasn't really a big fan of Verdansk. I think those are good, learning games for the developers, and I think they did a good job with those games. It just got really hard to play, in large part because I just killed some people. In large part because of the cheaters, in large part because of the way it was designed, the game was designed. But they learned so much from it, and they're going to apply some stuff. And I personally, I'm not really necessarily a fan or not a fan of loadouts in Warzone. I know I'm shifting gears. And then when it comes to skill-based matchmaking, you know, I understand it, like putting the same type of players in the same type of match. But what I think a lot of people are not understanding is that over time, the game has really changed and the player base has really dropped off. And those players that have remained have gotten better. And so if you're one of the best players and you're always above the curve and always above everybody, it's going to seem like it's going to seem a lot sweatier. And then for new players, you can imagine, in part that's why the player base has dropped off, is because it's gotten so sweaty. And there are so many mechanics to know and learn in this game. You know, like there's a big skill gap. And so when I hear people like Iceman Isaac say that he wants to maintain a larger skill gap, I think that's kind of a jerky thing to say in my opinion. Because, not because I'm super good or super bad. I think I'm pretty average, to be frank. But that said, I think when you're a good player or a self-proclaimed really good player, you know, I think wanting the skill gap to be there just ensures that the skill-based matchmaking is going to be blowing off the charts, because you're going to have only a certain few people that can maintain that skill, you know, much like that is going on right now in current Warzone as it is. So, you know, that's something to think about. But a lot of these players want it to be easier for themselves, and I think it should just be what it is. You should be in the game. I would rather be in a match with players that were around the same range of skill as me, because sometimes I'm in games with players that are so freaking good. Is that because I'm good? No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not super great. You know, so I don't, you know, how does that reconcile? So, you know, whatever, when it comes to all that. Anyway, I really enjoyed these modes, man. I really enjoyed the graphics. I really enjoyed the updates. I thought the movement was spectacular. I thought the guns were great. I'm so glad to be back to just a few guns, you know, and a certain genre of guns.
Yeah, the field camera, I see you wrote this down here. The field camera does suck. It is not as cool as we thought.
Put it in reverse!
Yeah, they're not correct about this. Now, when you throw up a camera, you notice on the right-hand side you get a warning or you get an indicator. That warning means they're in the camera range. You don't have to look at it. If you know where it's at, you know, or if it's destroyed, or like you just saw on the map or on the screen, it tells you what's going on. So you can have essentially, I mean, it's a nice radar, really, more than it is a camera. And if you want to look at it, I guess you can, but no, it's an interesting tool. And when people really develop those tools or start really getting a better sense of what they can do, it's going to be pretty amazing. So one of the big complaints kind of was how easy it is for people to camp. But wait until they start using those drill charges better. When they start really applying those tools, it's going to be tough, because you can throw them through the floors, you can throw them through vehicles. Those drill charges are going to be pretty handy for dealing with campers. But one of the things that, you know, is kind of interesting when it comes to this particular mode of invasion that I didn't realize until, you know, kind of midway through the second weekend, because I was really just kind of exploring a lot. But there's really a front line to the game. And so once you kind of get to that front line, you can kind of defend that area, and you'll just keep getting kill after kill after kill. It's tough to hold, but being able to get to the front line, and once you can, because that's really what it is. It's about who's pushing each other back, who owns the most territory, and I loved it. I thought it was handy. It was a really good, you know, really good game. I did see a couple of glitches. One that I noticed was when I a threw down a turret gun one time, and then one time or several times I crashed into the earth in the back of the map. There was a place where you could fall into the map and you were stuck. Yeah, movement is still vitally important in this game. It's just gonna be different kind of movement. You're just gonna have to move more like a regular human being instead of I don't know what kind of movement to describe the constant slide canceling. I mean, people have called it ice skating or whatever, but it's just I don't know. It's unnatural movement. And, you know, running and that kind of thing. Sliding, diving within reason. Those are all everything in this game here felt really natural, really good. Fluid. I'm glad they did that for V slider. That was key. That was definitely key to changing the game, making it way more fair. It was so unfair to even have crossplay, really, when you have computers that can see so much more, or players that can see so much more. It's definitely a learning curve to get used to a different field of view where you can see much more, but it's wider, but things are at a distance. So it kind of fish-eyes you a bit, I guess, in a way. That everything that you used to be up close, even though you're moving essentially the same speed, and it feels faster, which is nice. And that speed does feel, that feeling of speed, I think helps the way the player thinks about movement. At least for me. I love the footsteps. I love everything. But again, I'm a Warzone player, really. I mean, I don't play a lot of multiplayer. So playing a lot of Warzone, I think the footsteps are a vital tool. And so when it comes to that game, I think it's going to be necessary. Yeah, I love the perk system. I have no problem with the progressive perk system. I was glad that they were bringing it to Warzone. I'm indifferent about the loadouts being in Warzone. And I'm glad I waited to talk about this game until after it had already been out a bit and people had already said their 2 cents. Alright, yeah, here's a glitch I was talking about. So I throw down the turret gun, but I don't know where it is exactly. Then I see these hit markers happening, which I thought was really weird, but I knew exactly where it was. There, then you can see it shooting, but that would be around the corner. While I placed the turret way back here. So yeah, that was just a glitch. They'll get that all sorted, I'm sure. And again, the other glitch is some bots fell into the map or just stuck there. You know. And then a couple of times it lagged out, but by and large, everything ran pretty smooth. You know. I never really had any packet loss. It was just pretty nice. Someone didn't change their FOV, right? I heard that quite a few players just didn't know they could or overlooked doing it or whatever. Anyway, look at this man, my aim. I have naughty aim there. In real life, naughty aim. That was terrible on my part. Alright. Yeah. Don't misunderstand this play you're seeing here. I'm very average and normally I stink. Not always. But sometimes I do really stink. And I just am here to have fun with this, you know, man. I mean, I don't know, I'm not gonna take anything like this seriously, Joe. There's no way. There's no way. Why would I? It makes no sense to take this seriously. I mean, getting better, me personally getting better seriously, yeah, sure, I want to get better, of course I do. But I'm not mad about how somebody else beats me. If they beat me, they beat me. I just have to fuck up and try again. Yeah, the vehicles, man. The vehicles.
All right, let's go!
So, this was okay. I'm not really good at this. I hadn't really played a whole lot of Call of Duty prior to Warzone coming out during the pandemic, so I wasn't really used to this, you know, and again, I don't play a lot of multiplayer, so again, I wasn't used to that. But it was fun, you know. The tanks were fun. Once I figured out how to shoot them, I was able to go on kind of a killing spree with some players that I didn't know, which was pretty fun. And I like being a good driver and trying to help out my team, especially the guy who's trying to get some kills going. Anyway, I don't know why he left, or he died. I don't know my player. But yeah, I had a good time driving these vehicles. I think the vehicles are a great addition. It's just so funny. Players complain about these vehicles, but the vehicles were limited to some degree. And you know, I like look at how much armor came off that vehicle in that one strike. It was a tank, although it was a rocket launcher. So I mean, same. Yes, it makes sense. Yeah, it was. The vehicles are crazy and they're great, and I love how they fall apart in pieces. You know, at one point my bumper comes off. I thought that was really hilarious. Had a good time with the vehicles. I really did. I thought it was, you know, and then when they get destroyed, they stay. They remain there. You know, even if there's a respawn, that vehicle will remain there. I gotta take this one now. That's trash. It's gonna be a lot of fun in Warzone playing with all these vehicles. And I don't know if I'm gonna like DMZ more than Warzone or not. You know, it's gonna be interesting for sure. To just give all the different tools a shot. You know, what's gonna be the style of play that develops, you know, because at the moment I'm more of a runner and gunner kind of player. Close quarters, defender, you know, like if I camp or whatever. But I don't spend a whole lot of time camping. I might defend an area, like I said, it was a front line. Once you get there, you should defend it. You know, kind of thing, get kills, whatever. But when it comes to Warzone, usually I like to move around and stuff. You know, go for the win, play smart. I like the strategy. So with DMZ, that might lead more to what I'm interested in as a player. And I'll be curious to see how everybody, you know, comes to like the different modes and the different, you know, parts of the game. I wish DMZ was behind a paywall. I wish it was connected to this, to multiplayer. That you had to buy the game to play DMZ, because I would limit the cheaters in that version and leave them mostly over in the Warzone area. Not that I want them there, you know, to be honest with you, it's lame. They should not be anywhere. There's no place for that. It's unnecessary. You know, people are very entertaining. They have a lot to share, a lot to offer. And then I guess when you don't think you do, you find ways of trying to offer stuff that really isn't within your skill set. So you cheat, which is unfortunate. Because really, people do have a lot to offer, and it's a lot of fun to, you know, watch different streamers react to the game and stuff. And that's what I do. And I'm hoping that they get rid of kind of all this meta nonsense, and it just becomes a fun, challenging, mentally challenging, but at the same time equally entertaining game. Oh yeah, so the user interface. I love the guns. I love the gun trees. I think they're really savvy, really smart. Just interacting with them was really tough. It was really tough. I had a really hard time interacting with the way I was trying to get from one gun in the tree to another gun in the tree to see what I needed to unlock, and what I needed to do to get there, and it just wasn't intuitive enough to me. Like if I wanted to get over here to the rampage, it wouldn't let me get to that. So it was really tough. But I'm sure those are things that they'll get fixed. So I don't even no, I'm not sweating. I love that Lockman sub. Once I actually unlocked it, it was really sorted. I really had a good time with that. Yeah, so to kind of close out, back to Warzone. They've already announced a bunch of changes. I guess 200 some content creators that were, influencers or whatever. They cried about a lot of things related to Warzone. Now, some of those things I think were really valid, like having the loot boxes, having you have to go through a menu that's really dangerous and very slow in a game that is kind of a fast-paced tactical shooter. I don't agree with any of the content creators that say it's not a tactical shooter. It is, and you have to be smart about how to play the end game. Especially if you're in a balanced lobby where everybody's as good as you. And you watch that when you watch the Warzone, whatever the World of Warzone tour or whatever, championships. Yeah, they definitely play more careful because they're all the same level. Anyway, cool. I'm excited about this game. I can't wait for it to come out, and hope you are too. Look forward to playing it with my friends and hacking what this game is and all that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Alright, be well.